I ain't gonna lie, man. Everybody got their one item that they love to fight about. For this one here, I'm gonna talk about some boys that was in there fighting over a bag of sour cream and cheddar Ruffles. So let's do it. I'm the best, finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga, yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with a lock. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2 comes violent, first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone and my charger don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. K-Fraud TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. My name's Frog. For everybody that's new to this channel or only tuned in a few times so far. And almost everything I talk about over here is prison related. For this one here, I'm going to be talking about a situation where two dudes got themselves in a fight over a bag of Ruffle chips. Okay? I know it sounds crazy, but through it all, when you were locked up, the littlest thing can turn into the biggest situation. And to me, the reason I felt like sharing this video and, you know, breaking it down and letting you know how it all went down is because it isn't really so much over the item they fought over, which was the bag of Ruffles, but it was more of how it all came about to where they got in the fight over the Ruffles anyways, okay? First thing I'm gonna let y'all know is down here in the state of Florida, while I was incarcerated, we did not get Ruffles as chips, okay? Those were not on the, you know, canteen list. We did not get those. Now in the Broward County Jail, which is the county jail that I went through and been in every time I got arrested, we do get the sour cream and cheddar Ruffle chips, okay? And them shits are fire on top of a bologna and cheese sandwich. But sometimes you got guards that, you know, bring in stuff for inmates. You know, they might bring something that's their own lunch and decide to give it to somebody. You know, I've told numerous stories about things that I've had that I ate that wasn't, you know, given to us by the prison while I was in there, just from guards bringing it in. Now, of course, anything you get from an officer, it's worth way more than, you know, something that you can easily get yourself on the compound. Now, the way it went down with this whole situation is my homeboy, someone that I was kind of, I'd say almost one of my closest homeboys that I was in prison with, got himself into a fight over a bag of sour cream and cheddar Ruffles. And what it was is, you got some guards that are cool. You got some guards that, you know, are just straight by the book. Like, you know, they literally take their job serious, you know, and they let things slide. They're more lenient, but as long as you're not breaking the rules, you know, breaking the code of conduct or whatever. And then you got some that abuse their authority. For this situation here, there was an inmate that was in our dorm that was going around and he was cleaning, okay? And it's crazy, you know, once the situation, you know, popped off, because I remember sitting there and looking and I was like, damn, he ain't no house man. That boy cleaning everybody's shit, you know what I'm saying? Normally, house man is the job that you will get by ICT, which is Inmate Classification Team. They always present you with a job, whether it's education, whether it's, you know, chow hall, you know, inside grounds, outside grounds, you know, orderly for here or orderly for over there, whatever it is. And that, you know, the people that are supposed to be housemen, those are the ones that clean the dorm, you know. And this one inmate, I seen him, and he was going in between all the bunks, because this was an open bay. He was going in between all the bunks, and there's a window with bars, you know, and he was grabbing the rag, and he was rubbing all the bars, you know, he was rubbing the window seals, you know, going around, going to the next window, doing the same thing, and he was cleaning real, like a deep cleaning, okay? You know, housemen, that's their job, you know, so they just straight up, you know, they just sweep and shit like that to make it presentable enough, okay? But in prison, we have it to where they come around and they do like cell inspections. You know, when you're in a two-man cell, that's what they call it. But really, it's a dorm inspection. So they come around and they want to inspect. And normally, whatever institution you're at, whatever dorm wins, you know, cell inspection or dorm inspection, they get like a reward for it. It might be a bigger TV on a cart. They'll come in with the cart on wheels with a big TV on it, and you get that TV for a week in the dorm so everybody can watch shit on the flat screen. I've heard, you know, stories about other camps when they win cell inspection, they get ice cream parties and different shit like that. You feel me? Cake parties. Like, we didn't get that where I was at, but they try to reward you just to get you to comply with it, because a lot of the times, you know, you're in prison. This is where you're at forever, you know, if you got a life sentence. And it's like, what the hell I'm gonna comply for that for? I live here. I ain't never going home. So they kind of like try to reward you a little bit. Well, this officer was real big on trying to impress, you know, the people that were coming around for the cell inspection, you know, as far as like the warden, or it could be like the head classification officers from Tallahassee. They fly down and come down to different places in Florida when it comes down to doing these inspections. So he basically, he had a deal with one of the inmates. You know, the inmate said he'd do a deep clean and everything like that, and he said he would give him a bag of these Ruffle chips, which I guess that's what he brought in his lunch, you know. So he said, I'll give you these chips, you know, you just clean. And somebody that ain't ate nothing like that in forever, you know, who ain't never had that specific type of chip in a long time, and it's like an exotic item, you know, is going to be like, hell yeah, I call that, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to clean. What is one day of cleaning? Because you think about it, if the officers really wanted to, they could shut everything down, the phones, the TVs and all that, and force everybody to just clean for the hell of it. You feel me? So that dude felt like he had a little, you know, he had a little deal going on with the guard. So what does he do? He's over there sweating. He's putting in that elbow grease, cleaning real deep, doing everything and stuff like that. And didn't know none of this in the beginning. Found all this out, you know, afterwards, you know what I'm saying, later on in the fact. But my homeboy, the one that I was real close with or whatever, we walk up to the flap, which the officer's inside of the officer station. He's in the bubble, and they got the little flap, kind of like the drive-thrus at the bank have, where they push the thing out, you put whatever you want in, and they pull back in. And my homeboy was just going back and forth with the guard about some shit, and he said, man, let me get them Ruffles right there. And the guard literally rolled over there on his chair, grabbed them, and put him in the flat and gave him to my homeboy. But he told my homeboy, only one thing I'm asking of you. If anybody asks, you say you took them. That's the one thing that he said. And then, you know, that he didn't give them to him, you know, that he took them. He took them himself and shit like that. So my homeboy's like, shit, I call that, you know, because of course, if you got a guard that's doing something like that, you're not trying to throw him under the bus. Because if you do, then you're basically getting rid of all the cool guards. You feel me? So he did that. Next thing you know, when the dude's done cleaning, he wants to get the chips and shit like that. He goes and looks. He sees my homeboy over there, you know, busting them bitches open, throwing them back, smashing them, eating them like it's nothing. Now, this is where I felt like it was a flawed way of it to go down when it came to the guard. Because when the dude went up to the guard and was like, what's up with my chips? This and that, this and that. The guard, instead of saying, oh man, I accidentally gave him the what's it called, I got you tomorrow. Right there is all he had to do to dead the situation. And at the end of the day, you know, the inmate would have been like, shit, all right, whatever. The officer got the best of me, but tomorrow he'll probably look out. Instead, he's like, oh, I don't know. Someone must have took him. You feel me? That's what he said. Someone must have took him. You know, like made it, like he stuck to the story that he told my homeboy to stick to. So now the dude that's cleaning the windows, I see him go up to the officer booth. And then next thing you know, I see him look around, he comes, and then he's walking right towards us as my dog's smashing these chips. You know what I'm saying? So when he walks up, and he's like, hey, bro, they're my chips right there, bro. You took them from the guard? My homeboy was just doing what the guard told him to do. He's like, yeah, I took them. Why? What's up? You feel me? You got a problem with it? When really all he had to say is, you know, to dispute the whole situation, but he was sticking to what he told the guard he was going to say. He could have just been like, yeah, he gave them to me, but he told me if anybody asked, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then the other dude who was cleaning would be like, damn, so really it would have all showed that the officer was the flawed one for giving away something that he already promised basically to somebody else. But instead, since my homeboy said that he would, you know, say he took them, he told that inmate he took them. So now the one that was cleaning looks at it like, damn, you feel me? He took my chips. So he's like, oh, those was my shits. You feel me? You didn't just see me cleaning the dorm, yada, 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 yada. And this is where it comes into where lack of communication turns into a fight. Because both of them had a reason to communicate, you know, amongst the going back and forth with each other's throats. But all it had to do is one of them to tell the other person to just hear out what I gotta say, and then the other one be like, oh, okay, because he said, and then it could have came to where the problem wasn't between them two. It would have been the guard was the flaw one, you feel me? Now, it would have been different if he would have been like, oh yeah, man, you know, I got you tomorrow, you know, don't worry about it, or something, the guard. But he didn't. He was just like, oh, someone must have took them shits. So now it's like, damn, I did all this, and then bruh's the one that tried me. So of course he's gonna come at his throat. And then, like I said, my homeboy thinks he's doing what he told the guard he would do, and really he don't know the guard already threw him under the bus in a flaw way anyways. So these boys go to arguing back and forth. He's arguing with my dog because my dog so-called took the chips. And then he's yelling at him because he felt like he should have got the chips for cleaning. And then my dog's yelling back at him because he feels like he's checking him about taking the chips from the guard. So then he's like, oh, you sticking up for the police? What, you police now? So then he done called him police. So these boys go to arguing. Next thing you know, they're in the shower, which is the, you know, open base shower. It's got 8 shower heads with a mini wall. They're in there and they're squaring off, calling each other all types of names. And they literally, this wasn't a little 1, 2, 3 fight and it was over with. These dudes literally beat the shit out of each other for a while. They went like 4 rounds. They was in there fading for 4 rounds. Like, everyone break it up because they fell on the ground. Tell them to get up, line that shit up again. Whatever. They ain't done. They want to keep going. You feel me? And I know at the end of the day, it's like, the things that were said make you fight. You know what I'm saying? But people say things because they don't truly understand what you're saying or how you're saying it. It's miscommunication. You see what I'm saying? So, he says one thing. He retaliates and says another thing. Before you know it, them boys ain't even really fighting over the chips. They're fighting over what was said. And it could have all been avoided if the guard would have just handled it the right way. He could have just been like, oh, not today, man. Can't give you these ones this time. I already owe them to somebody. Or, you know, to my homeboy. Or he could have told the other dude, like I said, oh, nah, man, you know, oh, I forgot, man. Yeah, I already gave them to somebody. Oh, tomorrow I got you. Don't worry about it. You feel me? And he didn't. And then when them boys were fighting, the guard didn't say shit. And I remember I was more observant to the guard than the fight. You know, like I was watching the fight go down to make sure nobody jumps in, of course, you feel me? But I was paying attention to the guard, and the guard was in the bubble, leaning on the glass like this, watching the fight go down. You see what I'm saying? So, in my eyes, and the way I observe it is the guard, he baited all that shit up. He made all that shit go down. You see what I'm saying? That whole fight could have been avoided. You know what I'm saying? If he would have just spoke to the inmate the right way. But, you know, at the end of the day, whether the guard wanted to buck the inmate or whether the guard wanted to be real, flaw, lie, tell the truth, you know, whatever it is, there is nothing the inmate could have did, you know, but accept it unless he's going to attack a guard. You see? But the fact that he just let that shit go on and he seen it was the same 2 individuals, the one he promised the chips to and the one he gave the chips to. You know, he could easily, man, what that? And he could have disputed the whole situation because when them boys were arguing, they were loud. Everybody knew they were going to fight. Everybody in the dorm, how loud they were from arguing, rapping back and forth. It wasn't like it was a low-key argument and then the boys went back there and slid and they gritted low-key. No, they were loud. The whole dorm knew what was going on. Everybody was trying to break it up and the guard was just sitting there. You feel me? And 9 times out of 10, that same guard, anytime somebody would get in a dispute, when people go to arguing, that same guard would rush in and jump up and try to dispute it. But this one here, he let it ride. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if he wanted to see who really deserved the chips. You feel me? I don't know if he wanted to buck the person who was wiping the fucking windows. You know, or if he intentionally didn't like my homeboy, so he wanted him to get in a fight over chips that already belong to somebody else. But the whole fact of the whole situation was it was a flawed thing in my eyes altogether. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times, inmates don't know this shit. They be fighting and getting into shit, and they don't know. They think the person they're fighting is the wrong. They think, you know, they always want to go with what they said. Everybody's got their own opinion and their own shit that they're going to stand on, whether they're right or wrong. And then they think the other person that they're going at it with, you know, knick-knacking back and forth, talking shit to, they think that person's wrong because it goes against what they're saying. But then that person might have a reason that's right on his end, just like they got a reason that's right on their end. So they could both be right and they're bumping heads and low-key don't know, but a guard be behind the whole situation. You see what I'm saying? And after the whole situation, you know, went down and they fought 4 rounds, then everybody started talking and everything and shit like that. And it was to the point to where now they understood. You know, my homeboy understood that the dude said he was going to give him those for cleaning all that shit. But he never told my homeboy that. So my homeboy wasn't wrong. You see what I'm saying? And then the dude who was cleaning understood that the guard just straight gave him the chips because he asked for the chips, you know, and he understood he wasn't wrong for asking for the chips, but he never knew he was cleaning the windows for the chips. You see, it kind of like felt like he wanted to fight my homeboy because he stole something from the police. So he was sticking up for the police. But then on the other dude's end, it looked like he was cleaning to get the chips, and it looked like my homeboy stepped on his toes. Like he knew he wanted them chips, so he stepped on his toes and got the chips. Here, I've been cleaning all day. You ain't do shit but ask, and he gave them to you. You see? And it led into a fight. And I'll never forget. It was over sour cream and cheddar Ruffles. Like I said, we do not get those on the canteen inside of prison. You know what I'm saying? And some people, you know, like shit more than others, so you know them boys fought over it. Now I don't really think it was over what flavor the chip was. I think it was more over the boundaries being crossed and the respect that they needed to get from each other after the disrespect was already pitched out. You see, because a lot of times you'll find yourself in an argument, you know, and it goes beyond what the argument's over. It's more on what was said during the argument. You feel me? But the whole meaning of this story was to let y'all know how they fought over a bag of Ruffles. Sour cream and cheddar Ruffles, you see? And little things like this happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? If you're somebody that's not used to the prison life, then you're going to fall for it. If you're somebody that is used to the prison life, you're going to see and observe these things so much that you're going to basically peep it when it's coming. And you're going to be able to tell, you know, like, damn. Well, I seen that guard had them same chips in his hand. So without even saying anything or putting two and two, like, cents in there and trying to figure it out, you can observe and tell, well, what he's eating right now, I seen that guard bring in yesterday. So I know he got that from the guard. Boom. You don't got to go around and investigate and try to figure it out. You see what I'm saying? And it just leads to a bunch of fuckery when people, you know, everybody wants something different. You get what I'm saying? And if a guard's willing to bring something in, they could bring in an apple. A real deal apple, big, nice, pretty ass red apple, and everybody's gonna go crazy for it. When in all reality, they give apples out, but the apples they give out are the little small ones. But a real deal ruby red, you know, everybody in there is gonna, oh hell yeah, I want that, I want that. And then either because they like apples, you feel me? They might love apples. They might be someone that wants to sell it because they know it's gonna be worth way more than a regular apple. You know what I'm saying? Or they just want something different in their appetite. And they know it's an exotic thing. You feel me? And people will go to the extreme about these type of things. You see what I'm saying? Me personally, I've gotten fights over a bunch of petty shit. A bunch of stupid things. And I look back on them and I think about them and I'm like, yeah, it was stupid. It was petty. But at the end of the day, I feel like it needed to be done. There was no other way, I feel like. I feel like it needed to go that route. Because if it didn't go that route, then I wouldn't have been satisfied. And I didn't win them all, you know what I'm saying? Even the ones I lost, but I was still satisfied because I got it off my chest. You see what I'm saying? And that's the type of thing that you're going to see when you're in prison. You're going to have to go through certain things that you truly don't want to go through, but you have to go through it. And even if it's to where you get the shit end of the stick of the situation, you're still going to respect and feel better that you went through it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'd rather get whooped. I'd rather get beat down. I'd rather be all banged up, stitched open, leaking, and everything. And you respect me. You feel me? Than not respect me and me buck a call out or turn the shoulder when you're intentionally trying me or call me out of my name and or put your hands on me or something. You know, I'd rather go through the bruised and banged up route if it led to that. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to handle myself when situations come out. So I know how to like get in there. And I never really get, when I lose a fight, I've never been beat bad. You know, I've lost fights, but I never had nobody like knock me out clearly. I never had nobody like on me, just riding me, just pounding me, ground and pound. I never had nobody like sitting on my chest. I've never had that. I've been to where I've gotten fights, scuffles. People made my nose leak. People's hit me more times than I've hit them, you know, but that's only because I'm going to get in there. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to pump fake. I'm going to go in there and try to hit you, and I'm going to hit I'm gonna run into what you gotta hit me with, and that's what it is. That's what fighting is, you know what I'm saying? But you don't learn from winning them all, you learn from losing fights. Cause then you know your mistakes, you get what I'm saying? That's how it goes. You gotta learn from your losses or where you went wrong. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, in prison, you might have to fight over the stupidest stuff. And for this one here, I wanted to share this story, let y'all know how they fought over this bag of Ruffles, but the guard was behind it all. And nothing happened to the guard. Nothing. You feel me? The next day, he didn't bring the dude who cleaned up. He didn't bring him nothing. No chips, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? The way I looked at it is if he really just wanted to get over on that dude. You feel me? Rather than make my homeboy, you know, fight over the chips. But I felt like he just wanted to buck him on the chip thing, you know, and then he just had my homeboy be the one to handle it. That's how I feel like it all went down, because it could have went so many different ways, and it didn't. And the guard just sat there and waited for it to go down. But the crazy thing is, now, I will say this before I wrap it up, is them boys, when they were fading, to me, it didn't look like either one of them won. And I'm not saying that like they weren't connecting. They were both connecting. You know what I'm saying? There was a point where he was on top of my homeboy, hitting my homeboy like 5, 6, 7 times. And break it up, clean break. And then there was a time where he was on top of him, kneeing him. Had him bent over, kneeing him, like hitting him in his shit and everything. Get off. So them boys, literally, it was a real deal grid. It was more of a like a pressure, like a respect fight, you know? And them boys both handled their business. See, it isn't always like people are going to talk, oh, he won or he won. No, sometimes that should be a good fight. That people just be like, oh, them boys went in there and did their thing. Because nobody's going to talk about who whooped who did what, because they know them boys are respected. Them boys both handled their own. Them boys went in there and just kept giving it all they got. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, through it all, you know, them boys both handled up. And that was like, I guess, what needed to happen, because both of them felt like they were being tried by the other somehow. In all reality, they weren't. They both were right in their own reason. But the guard was the one that was flawing the situation. So I wanted to share this video with y'all to let y'all know the littlest thing can be miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? And it spirals in your head, and it'll make it to where you really don't know. Because if the dude cleaning the windows would have knew that the guard literally gave him them chips and said, if anyone asks, you know, you say you took them, then it would have been like, damn, the officer bucked me, bro, because he, you know, he had me cleaning these windows. Instead, he giving them shits away to you. So fuck, bro, you know, I ain't mad at you, you know, yada, yada, yada. But he didn't, because my homeboy was like, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? I took that shit from the guard. You see? And then so much different shit was already said back and forth to where he ain't got to straighten it out and tell him now, hey, well, you know, at first I said that, but in all reality, he gave them to me. Because then he's going to look soft for doing that now. Like the person cleaning the windows made him change his story. You feel me? And now you're telling me what really happened. So you brought the truth about him. See? So that's why it's all miscommunication. But if anything, have y'all ever been in this type of situation? Have y'all ever seen somebody fight over a bag of chips or over something that was so dumb where it could have been solved a different way? Or they were both right in their own way, but the way that it was brought, you know, to the table, they both felt like that person was wrong, so it had to lead to a fighting situation. Have you ever seen anything like this take place, or have you ever been in it yourself? Or what about when a guard does this? Have you ever witnessed this firsthand? If you have, drop it in the comment sections. I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know. Let them know that it ain't just down here in Florida, man. That shit happens all around the world. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, y'all, that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all stay, you know, safe, man, and protect your Ruffles. And at the end of the day, make sure you keep them rat squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle. Until next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though. I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though. Cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.